Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. In commemoration of the upcoming crossover brawl, Godzilla vs. Kong, I'm taking a look back on the movies that will lead up to the epic clash, starting with Godzilla. Full disclaimer, I'm not a huge Godzilla fan. I've seen very few of the old school films. I did see the original Godzilla in my film appreciation class back in high school, thank you Miss Selke, and remember liking it okay. The film I grew up with is the much maligned '98 film with Matthew Broderick. I liked it enough at the time, I was 9 years old after all, but like it far less now as an adult. I fully admit though, I love the sequel animated series. I mean, seriously, do you have any idea how underrated this show was? Not just for the fact that we got legit kaiju fights on the regular, but look at the talent they roped in. Ian Ziering, Tom Kenny, Kevin Dunn, Joe Pantoliano, Clancy fucking Brown, Susan fucking Eisenberg, Michael Chiklis, Kevin Michael Richardson, Robert Forster, Mae Whitman, Ron fucking Perlman, dude. Say what you want about the movie that kicked it off, but this series was the shit back in the day. Oh yeah, there was another one, wasn't there? Back in the 70s. This was Hanna-Barbera? Oh, yeah, now it's obvious. Anyway, point is, I never saw the original stuff that everyone else adores. And probably adores for good reasons. For mostly good reasons. Well, I'm not about to watch all those movies, that's for another time. In another life. So we're going to make it easy on myself and we're just going to watch the rebooted franchise, or as Legendary Studios would like to call it, the Monsterverse. Now, I have seen this movie before, a couple times now, and I've always said that it's okay. Not enough Godzilla, boring human characters, but when Godzilla was on screen, it was pretty awesome. Let's see how I feel about it now. This is my honest opinion of Godzilla. "15 years ago, Ford Brody, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, lost his mother in Japan in a supposed accident at the nuclear power plant she worked in. Though his father Joe, played by Bryan Cranston, survived, he has spent the last 15 years believing that the Japanese government was covering something up and has relentlessly pursued answers. One day, Ford gets notified that his father has been arrested in Japan, but it turns out that Joe was right all along. The government has an egg containing a gargantuan monster. It awakens, Joe loses his life, and Ford struggles to return home to his wife Elle, played by Elizabeth Olsen, and their son Sam, played by Carson Bold. However, this proves difficult when the creature catches the attention of a far older apex monster known simply as Godzilla.
Mommy, look! Dinosaurs!
I think I like it better now than when I first watched it. Especially having seen all the other Monsterverse movies, I would actually argue this has some of the best moments in all of the movies. Still suffers from its fair share of problems though, so let's get into it. One of the bigger flaws is that Ford is just not that interesting of a character, and he gets a lot of screen time. It's not that he's a bad character, he saves a kid after all, and seems to want to help out his fellow soldiers any chance he gets, even if it means delaying seeing his family. But these are just actions, not a personality, or at least not a three-dimensional one, which is a shame because Taylor Johnson has been good in movies before. It's all in the writing, I guess. The missed opportunity continues to be Bryan Cranston. Remember that marketing we all hate now? He was front and center. Hell, if I remember correctly, Taylor Johnson was barely featured in the trailers. But nope, the most charismatic actor in the entire movie with a clear and relatable goal is killed off pretty early on, and the rest of the film suffers for it. Seriously, it's so hard to watch this and not feel the void of Cranston's absence. Again, I want to emphasize that no one delivers a bad performance, but Cranston. Just Cranston.
My wife died here. Something killed my wife. And I have a right to know.
Now, the last thing I want to do is pick on Taylor Johnson for having a boring character, because this really does apply to everyone. A huge bummer is the great but underutilized star power that they roped in here. I mean, look at this shit. Ken Watanabe, Elizabeth Olsen, David Strathairn, Richard T. Jones, fuck, even Sally Hawkins. I literally always forget that Hawkins is in this. And after the Paddington movies, Shape of Water, Maude, she should be instantly recognizable to me, but she just isn't in this, and that breaks my heart. Watanabe sure picks up the slack after Cranston's exit from the film, but I hate that he's not the center focus.
We call him Godzilla.
Seriously, I have to ask, has there ever truly been interesting human characters in Godzilla movies? I've seen the original and I've seen the 98 one. Even though I remember the 98 characters best, it's because they're very cartoonish. Go figure, maybe that's why they worked best in the cartoon. I mean, I know you kind of need a human center, you need the military, the army guys involved in some capacity, but by God, I feel like the writers make it so much harder than it really needs to be.
You suck, you jackass.
This wouldn't be the worst problem in the world if we had an overabundance of kaiju battles, and we really don't. I can't count how many times a battle's about to begin and we just cut away from them. To the human characters, no less. Yes, the third act stuff is awesome, but that's not enough to me. Contrary to what the studios think, I paid money. Okay, I didn't pay money to see Godzilla in theaters. I worked in a movie theater at the time and we had a private screening for the employees. But the point stands, I don't watch Godzilla movies to see human characters. I want to see Godzilla fight shit throughout the movie, not just the final act where you barely see half the action anyway. The film's cardinal sin, as far as I'm concerned.
The arrogance of man is thinking nature is in our control, and not the other way around. Let them fight.
But let's not get hung up on the negatives. There are some noteworthy positives. I said it once already, but I'll say it again. When we actually do see Godzilla, like, fighting the Mutos and causing wanton destruction, it's pretty friggin' badass. I guess one could argue that because there's so little screen time with Godzilla, that the filmmakers actually use that to their advantage. Godzilla does very little in this movie that isn't awesome. Getting up from the ocean to show off his size, his epic roar, his atomic breath, but there's one more thing that I really wanted to bring attention to, and it's something that I keep overlooking but appreciate more now. Atmosphere. I mean specifically when the plane jumpers are falling through the clouds and the smoke, falling next to a kaiju battle, and it's all quiet with nothing but Ford's breathing, and that music by Alexandre Desplat sends a chill right down your spine, man. I swear, every time I see that scene, I don't blink. This extends when our boots are on the ground and we see the kaijus moving around and we see just the silhouettes of the monsters in the smoke, subtle shadows. It's haunting and gorgeous at the same time. I love it. Yeah, it's still just okay. There's too much build-up to the actual monster fights. And the human characters that occupy that time are just not interesting. Or what few there are either axed off or aren't the main focus of the story. So their screen time is limited, rendering the rest of the film kinda boring. But the chosen moments where Godzilla is shown in all his glory, they're memorable and awesome. And there are some atmospheric elements that help it stand out and keep its head above water. Recommended? Yeah, just brace yourself. Bryan Cranston will help you get through the first 30 minutes, and the final 30 minutes is also pretty awesome. But everything between that is either going to make it or break it for you. And it kind of broke it for me. My honest rating for Godzilla, a 3 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Stay safe and healthy out there. Please wear a mask if you go out. Hope to see you soon.